Harmony here, and welcome to the Thrive podcast. Now, those of you who have seen the trailer go off a couple of weeks ago will know that I'm really excited to be launching this podcast, and I'm just so happy that I can take a part of something that I've been developing and working on for quite a while and share it with everybody in a more relaxed and casual environment where we can talk about some of these elements and the things that are in this workshop that I'm actually extending to so many other trainers, facilitators, but also just people in general on a personal level. So I'm really excited for the launch of Thrive. This is the pilot episode. So in this episode, we're basically going to be covering or giving you a glimpse of what does the rest of the season look like? What are we going to be covering? What are we going to be talking about? The kind of guests we're going to be having on the podcast, the discussions that are going to be taking place. Just giving you an in-depth view, so to speak, of what you can expect on the Thrive podcast. So let's get right into it. So before recording this episode, I was with my youngest daughter, and I'm setting up and I'm getting ready to record, and she's helping me. She was a great help. And she asks me, "Mommy, what is Thrive about?" And I said to her, "Thank you, little Liz," because I feel like that's a great place to start. It's a great place to start explaining the concept of Thrive. I think the best way to possibly do that is to explain the opposite of thriving. And for the longest time, that was me. I spent a very big portion of my life extremely dissatisfied with my accomplishments, not feeling that I was using the skills that I knew I had effectively, feeling a little bit detached from what I knew I could become, what I knew I could offer, feeling like I'm not quite there and I'm not given enough opportunities to display all that is within me. You know, everything that I come with, that I'm feeling is in there. But life is just not affording me the opportunity to actually put that out. Feeling very despondent, just going with the motions, you know, doing the basic 9 to 5, fulfilling and ticking all the boxes, but just still feeling so incredibly unhappy and dissatisfied. And that, in my understanding, is the opposite of thriving. You know, it's functioning below where we should be, below where we can be functioning. And for the longest time, that was me. I was extremely unhappy. But we fake it well, right? We walk around and we put on our poker faces so that the world seems to think we have it together, even though deep down we know that we don't. And when I came into this realization, I knew that there was more. There had to be more. I couldn't pretend it anymore. I couldn't fake it anymore. I had to get to a place where everything that I feel welling up inside of me, and I mean, at the time, that stuff didn't make sense. You know, I couldn't put my finger on what the stuff inside was. I just knew that whatever was on the inside was screaming to come out. I wanted to do more. I wanted to be more. And I didn't want to spend any more of my time pretending that I was okay or living a life substandard to what I knew that I could live, and being a person that I knew was mediocre compared to the person that I could fully become. And I just chose it was time to put a stop to it. And of course, coming to that realization wasn't an overnight experience. You know, I didn't just wake up one morning and decide I'm going from unhappy and dissatisfied to thriving. It took a while. It was a process, right? And even in this state currently, I haven't peaked, right? I'm not at the summit of the Thrive mountain, so to speak. But I am a lot further than I was when I started out. And that for me is what inspired me to start this workshop and in extension, the podcast. It was the idea that as people, if we only gave ourselves the opportunity to really dig deep and use the tools that most of them come naturally, right? The tools we were born with to live effectively and efficiently, we can become so much more than we ever thought was possible. We can achieve so much more than we ever thought was possible. But the longer it takes us to stop coloring within those lines, the longer it takes us to stop just doing what we do because that's what we've been doing, the longer it's going to take us to step into those people that we need to be. And that's what Thrive is about. It's not just about existence. It's not enough that we're just alive. It's not enough that we just have the 9 to 5s. It's not enough that we're just mothers or fathers or friends or siblings or daughters or husbands or wives. Those are roles, and thank God for them, right? But even in those roles, there is an opportunity for us to be so much more, because we were created to be so much more. We were created to thrive. And the reason that there's so much unhappiness and so much dissatisfaction is because as people, we haven't gotten that understanding. We haven't quite gotten to the point where we are challenging the emptiness instead of embracing it and just submitting and surrendering ourselves to it. We haven't gotten to the point where we're saying, I feel a void. I know I can be more. I know I can do more. And instead of stepping into it and questioning the status quo, curious about what lies behind the questions and the risks, right? Until we step into that place, we are not fully living effectively. We are just existing. And so Thrive was born. And that's exactly what this podcast is about. It's about discussing and going into as much detail as possible the topics and the tools that we require as people to help us along the way, to help us on our journey to thriving. And I'm so excited that we're going to spend the next couple of months together just covering as much as I have learned over the past 4 or 5 years of my life. The lessons that I've picked up along the ways, the challenges that I've experienced, but also from the perspective of other people, the different guests that I'm going to have on the show, talking about every element of thriving, and how long it took them to get to certain places, how long it took them to achieve certain things, how long it took them to realize certain things. And I think also we place so much emphasis on achieving, right? Because we measure it against the standards of society. But for me, to thrive may not look like the standard of society success, but it certainly is my own personal development, my own success in terms of overcoming the challenges that I've experienced and faced and becoming better for it on the other side. It's growing holistically, right? Mentally, emotionally, even physically. It's putting all of those things together and truly living out your life to the fullest, purposefully, because that's exactly what God intended for us to do, right? He intended that we would be here, right? Be effective in our purpose, effective in our lives, so much so that everybody around us is blessed by us, right? And that we are holistically happy and satisfied with the state of our lives. And I hope that your time on this podcast during the Thrive topics that we're going to have will help us all get to that place. So let's get ready to thrive. So let's give you a lay of the land. So we are calling this one the first season. And I have decided to name this one the Pursuit season, right? Season 1 is In Pursuit of. And that basically means we are going to talk about all the tools that we need to search or seek out in order for us to thrive. We're going to cover a number of different elements that I have found have been invaluable over the past 5 years for me. And just going through those layer by layer, so every episode will be unpacking that one element. And how we're going to do it, I am a trainer and facilitator by profession. So I do want the Thrive podcast to speak to us on a professional level, but also on a personal level. So each topic is going to be broken up into 2. Part 1 will be discussing how we can thrive in that specific area on a professional level. And part 2 will discuss how we can thrive in that area on a personal level. And each time I'll have somebody on the show to talk about their experience with that specific tool. So, for example, in pursuit of wisdom. Wisdom is a key element for us to be able to thrive. Without wisdom, we are lost. Right? So the Bible describes wisdom as a gift from God. So of course, we can't start our journey to thrive without seeking wisdom. It's crucial to seek out wisdom and to find out all the ways that we can access more of God's wisdom in order for us to thrive. So wisdom is one of the episodes that are going to be covered in this season. Then, of course, another very important element of thriving is pursuing purpose, right? This is a buzz term that's used around quite a lot lately. And there's so many layers to it, but I think the most important thing is actually seeking it out. Not being satisfied with just existing starts with understanding that there is a purpose to your existence. So on our journey to thriving, we need to find out what that purpose is. And so another episode will be in pursuit of purpose. And we will discuss all the elements that come with purpose and finding out what ours is in relation to who God created us to be and the ultimate role that He wants us to carry out here on earth. And what I found where purpose is concerned is that the moment you discover your purpose as it is ordained by God, the more effective you live, because every effort and everything that you do is channeled to that, because you have this big light bulb moment of what it is that you're here for, why you exist, right? So the moment we step into understanding what our purpose is, everything else is illuminated, and we function from that perspective. We function effectively knowing that I am operating exactly the way that God intended me to operate. And life becomes so much more meaningful and so much more fulfilling that way. And that is a key element to thriving. So in pursuit of purpose is the next one. Another really important element to thriving is joy. One of the episodes is going to cover our pursuit for joy. There is a distinct difference between joy and happiness. Happiness is being happy circumstantially. So usually for us to be happy, circumstances must convey that, right? We should experience some form of satisfaction around us. Something good must be happening to facilitate us to feel happy. Joy, on the other hand, is uncircumstantial. It's basically being content and at peace, regardless of the circumstances that are happening around us. And as we journey through our pursuit of thriving, we need to come closer to a full definition and understanding of true joy. Because so often we cannot hang our happiness on circumstances because they are ever changing, right? So as we grow and as we develop, one of the key traits that we need to develop is our ability to be joyous. And it isn't something that we manufacture ourselves. It's found in a higher power. It's found in God. And we're going to be covering the pursuit of true joy and what that looks like for our journey to thriving. Another episode is going to cover our pursuit for satisfaction, right? Big one. It's a really big one because so many people are dissatisfied with the state of their lives. So many people are dissatisfied with the state of the world, right? What is this notion of satisfaction? How does it contribute to our ability to thrive once we do achieve it? Where do we find it? How are we satisfied? What is the true source of satisfaction? And we're going to talk about that as well, because it's very important for us to be satisfied as people in order for us to thrive. So we're going to cover that as well as a very, very important topic. So these are just a few of the many different topics that we're going to talk about on this podcast as we pursue thriving, as we look and dig deep and talk about all the things that we need to achieve, or rather discover, in order for us to thrive, in order for us to be effective, holistic individuals living in society. And I'm really, really happy that I can take this journey with you and share a little bit more about some of the things I've discovered along the way in relation to these topics. So I am really, really looking forward to spending the next couple of months with you, unpacking all the ways and all the tools that exist to help us thrive. It's going to be a really insightful journey. And I know that just like me, if your desire is to constantly want to become better, want to learn more, want to develop, then this is going to be a fantastic podcast for you. All the topics that we're going to cover are going to be so enriching. And of course, it's an open platform. So if at all you have some suggestions, some inputs on different topics, things that you'd like to talk about that perhaps haven't been spoken about yet, the chance for you to do that is always open. Please share your inputs, share your comments, share your suggestions, right? And stories. I think it's so beautiful for us to take the journey together. And as we're doing that, we can talk about all the different things that we've experienced too along our journey of self-discovery. And I really, really look forward to hearing from you, all the different inputs that might exist out there, to enlighten me as well. So we're really, really excited. I look forward to seeing you all in May for the first episode, which covers In Pursuit of Identity, a big, big one, a very important one, because what is thriving if we don't know who we are, right? It is a crucial and a pivotal part of thriving, is finding out who are we, right? Where do we come from? What is our identity? And linking that to who or what we're here for is even more important. So I really look forward to the first episode, which launches on the 7th of May. And please, you can catch it on YouTube or Spotify every second Monday. And as I've already explained, the structure of each episode, so you'll know what to expect. But I'm really, really looking forward to it, and we'll see you in May. Remember, it's time to thrive. Let's go.